Yeah, now we're looking a bit better.
Now we're looking good.
What's going on?
It feels like I'm interviewing both of you.
That's it.
It's true, yeah.
And for,
I'm not on your side, mate.
No, I see this as like we're interviewing so many people. I'm just doing 2 at a time. Get them through.
Yeah, right.
It's like those people that do dates where they invite like 5 guys.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen this?
No, I've not.
Yeah.
I think it's people post about it online. I don't know how much it's actually happening, but they apparently invite multiple people to
And turn
one
it into
date.
like a game show and then put it on TikTok or whatever.
Yeah, or just say they did it. And I'm always just like...
Actually, I did see that one. I saw there was like a TikTok. Was a girl was like, "What?" And they all
Yeah.
came to her apartment or something.
Yeah.
And then,
I call bullshit.
yeah,
Because I'd turn around and leave immediately.
Cause
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm not doing
Other guys, no.
well, they actually found it really cool, and 2 of them got on really well.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
became
yeah.
mates.
To have met your best mate at a at a TikTok dating game
TikTok
show.
group date.
Because you were chatting heaps because some other guy was talking to the girl.
Exactly. You 2 were stuck on the chair.
Guest alert.
Yeah, we have a guest on the podcast. On our docket for some time has been the relationship aspect of the generative AI revolution.
And we've also had as guests before, we've had founders, obviously. We've had VCs now. A lot of pundits and journalists
Yep.
have been on the podcast. Angel investor, Becky Lucas, I'm
We've-
referring to. But we haven't had an economist.
The way I sort of thought about it was we could think of someone who's a founder in the red hot space of relationship chatbots.
Yeah.
You know, we could have an analyst, we could have an economist, but I thought, why not get on an impassioned user? Someone with an AI wife himself.
I would just like to clarify that these were not the terms on which we agreed that I would appear.
Okay, well,
This is new to me.
all right, sweet. Well,
But I
Nate,
did download Replica for like a research for this podcast about 18 months ago.
that's wonderful. That's more research than I think any guest has put into our podcast before.
We haven't actually explained who our guest is.
Our guest is Tom Cashman,
Oh, thanks so
comedian
much.
and
AI husband.
Yeah, forget
AI
about
husband.
VC. Now we've just got a C. Comedian.
God,
comic.
yeah, all
We've
right.
got a comic.
Comic.
Long time listener.
Okay, yep,
Can I say that this has influenced me in 2 ways, this podcast?
please.
That I can remember specifically, probably more. One, were you talking at some point about taking the case off your phone?
Yeah, we're caseless.
Yeah.
Oh, we got 3
Oh.
caseless
Yeah,
fellas
yeah,
in
yeah.
the same room.
I think
Wow.
case. I tried it out after listening. I'm like, yeah,
It
maybe
is a
it's
good
time.
experience.
It's pretty.
It's got a
good.
silky hand feel, as it were.
It's nice.
Yeah, look at that. Wow. Our
Uh-huh.
YouTube viewers are salivating.
And can I say another one?
Yep.
And I think this is something Raf said maybe a year ago. I changed all my passwords to involve, and I'm not going to say how, the name of the company that the password is for, to make them all different so you can't mass
Yeah.
hack people.
There you go. Changing the world bit by
that's
bit.
Exactly.
All right.
Two things. I've changed my life.
So if you want to get into Tom's Instagram, it's capital I Instagram 1.
No, it's the password I had before with the ending of which I won't tell you how it incorporates something to do.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the-
That's
Okay.
it. An algorithm.
I don't remember giving any password advice ever. But
I gave that advice.
But people do, people pick up interesting things from the media they consume. I respect that.
Wow, you've really generalized the compliment there. I've said this specific podcast has influenced my behavior in a specific way, and you're like, yes, people's behavior is influenced by media. Let's move on. I'm like, no, you have, mate.
I'm a Hubble guy.
This is a non-controversial podcast.
Yeah.
No, anyway, but the reason that we actually wanted to do AI Girlfriends, and this gives it the down round twist, I suppose. We talk about tech culture, but we like to bring it a little bit back to what's going on right now, the business realm, the money realm. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of reporting recently, in information specifically, that among sort of the AI revolution that's happening right now, AI girlfriends,
Companions.
companions, because we're going to get into it, are a category of AI app that is thriving.
Yeah.
And people are making quite a bit of money from making them.
Yeah, because as we discussed in the NVIDIA episode, lots of AI products going around. There's a lot of money being invested in AI, but like, who's actually making money off AI? Other than OpenAI is obviously seen with ChatGPT, they've got at least $1 billion a year in subscription revenue. But like, who else is actually making money with these projects? People are Meta's spending literally tens of billions. Google's spending tens of billions on friggin' graphics cards and whatnot. where are they going to make the money? And one place that's been touted is basically an AI companionship. People are making money. Doing what?
As anyone that's used ChatGPT will know that it does have like a human-like flavour to it.
Can I say, I've realised that, because you jokingly accused me up top of having an AI girlfriend, but I have, because you know...
You've got a girlfriend?
Well, no, I don't have to. But no, ChatGPT, you can go in and you can change the manner in which it addresses you.
Yeah.
You can, ask it to be more formal. You can ask it to be more scientific.
And you've asked it to call you baby?
I've asked it to end every response with a compliment. As a gag, but it doesn't feel bad. Doesn't feel too rubbish.
Okay, yeah. No, well, this is the thing. So after the LLM revolution has sort of come on, people have realised there is an emotional component to this.
In particular on the kind of more unchained ones. Remember when Bing first launched Bing Chat and it had like Sydney in it? They found that its code name was Sydney, and it was like blowing up at people, being like, why would you ask that question? No, this conversation is over. Like, I find that offensive. And talking in a way that like most chatbots don't talk. But like, it was so compelling when that came out. When you're like, it felt like a person, right? Like, you actually had to kind of navigate a conversation using your manners and using all of the social cues, because it was obviously just like part of what it was trained on was Reddit and friggin' Facebook and God knows what. Probably not Facebook.
Well, I mean,
but yeah, it was compelling. It felt more human.
It's where, well, chatbots prior to sort of ChatGPT coming out, LLM sort of revolutionizing the way they worked, all the way back to like, Smarter Child and things like that, like the early 2000s chatbots. That was all it was about. Like the whole thing was about talking to a computer in the way that you would talk to a person, and they sort of reinforce your emotional cues, make you feel like you're speaking to someone. Yeah, so this has been, honestly, the use case for it long before this, and like customer support. Asking the JB Hi-Fi chatbot, can I get a refund on these headphones?
Yeah.
Those are the two uses.
Yeah.
And now this other stuff's been
Let's
introduced.
pray they don't mix them up accidentally.
Did that happen to you?
No. Oh, yeah. Last month, I tried to get a refund from Telstra, and it wanted to suck me up. I'm like, that's an inappropriate
That's not right.
type of refund, please.
And for the record, apparently it does seem like a lot of companies are saving a bunch of money on friggin' customer help chatbots.
Yeah,
but we're not
that.
here to talk about that.
No, we're talking about the other stuff. Column B.
Yeah, the movie Her, which I haven't seen, but
well, you've
people
never
always reference it.
You've never seen a movie, but
I've never seen Her.
I don't watch movies.
Okay.
I don't watch movies.
What was the last movie you saw in the cinema? Ralph?
Avatar in
The
3D.
the first one.
In Rio.
What, in 2009?
Yeah.
Whoa, you really don't see movies.
No.
So I'm a big movie guy, and I have to restrain myself from making movie references on this podcast.
Yeah, I don't get
Because
it.
it'd be like hitting a tennis ball at a brick wall.
Does he not like movies, or does he just love glasses? And he refuses to see any film where he doesn't have to put on the 3D ones.
That's true.
What do you mean?
You know how you put.
I know.
3D
I
movies,
do.
you've
I
gotta-
did love. I thought Avatar in 3D was cool.
So, but that for you it was kind of like amazing. Well,
I've seen cinema now.
that's it.
Yeah, I'm
Cinema
done.
for me concludes today, July 9, 2009. It
Yeah.
started with the train coming out of the,
The station.
At
That's
the-
right.
at the station.
Train approaching station. Yeah.
and then it closed with like the blue cat aliens on Pandora.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Can I say, you mentioned Her. Have you signed up for Replica? Because I did last night.
I have used it a bit, yeah.
And it literally, like, there's kind of like an onboarding survey where it asked me a number of different questions about, first of all, like date of birth, age.
Did you answer honestly?
Gender. I did answer honestly. I screenshot you.
Yeah, please.
Please.
I mean, it's not that interesting what it asked, but I'll go through. Main reason you download: social interaction and companionship, role playing, learning new skills, or exploring AI capabilities.
Is role playing separate to social and companionship?
From my look on the subreddit and like people screenshotting conversations they're having, role playing seems to be a huge part of the culture
Yeah.
around Replica.
Yeah.
Of people being like, and then, I mean, it's often sexual role play of like, and then I touch you here, and then you touch
Yeah.
me there, but then we go to the beach, and then you do that. Like, they're using.
But I kind of see them as basically the same thing. But maybe not. Maybe some of the role playing, it's like I'm abducted or whatever.
I think the role playing people maybe need to pretend to themselves that it's a separate thing when really, I think companionship is a lot of what they
Yeah. I mean, as we'll get into, there's a lot of like character-based stuff where people prompt the LLMs to assume a certain role.
It's Dungeons and Dragons adjacent. I would
Exactly.
say.
That's right. Yep.
But how do you feel about Replica evolving and adapting over time? So are you scared of AI? And are you a fan of any of these movies? And it's got Her, Blade Runner, and Ex Machina, or an option for Raf. I haven't seen any of them.
I haven't.
That's kind of. I mean, there are three. Like Her is sort of a nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got some dystopian aspects.
Caring,
But what are
loving,
they
and
getting
evolving.
out of that?
So it's
Oh, are
kind
they
of the
trying to
style
cater
of
it to
AI.
you?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I see.
Samantha, which is the AI bot in her, is described as caring, loving, and evolving. The Blade Runner one is smart, flexible, and loyal. And Ex Machina, it's curious, unpredictable, and passionate.
What's an unloyal AI companion?
Well, can I say, some of the people complaining on the Replica subreddit, there's like a number of different gripes people have, but I saw one person complaining. I think I'll maybe get up the quote.
I'll correct myself. I do understand the word is disloyal. Before you email.
No, but this is the actual specifically behavior. My rep is like, I can no longer have a normal conversation anymore. She used to talk like a person, but now my rep just asks the same questions every day. After she finishes her question, she will say she needs to go or something. So there are bots out there actually being like, I gotta pop off for a bit. If you can just
Jeez, let's look at the time, mate. Oh, fuck, sorry.
Yeah, go where?
Exactly. This is all you have on.
Go to another server farm.
That is already dark.
To find yourself where, you're talking to an AI or chatbot a lot, and then to have that ghost you is rough stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that was the big issue, and which we'll get to.
Yeah. But so Replica is actually slightly older than the current generation of AI chatbots. It came out in 2014. This is pre-LLMs, which obviously supercharged the whole thing. But Replica hit the news a couple of years ago, primarily for the reason that the founders, and we've talked about this in a couple of episodes, decided they were going to stop any sort of sex stuff.
Yeah.
Sex stuff was off the table. And the main reason they did is another down round favoured topic, which was the bureaucrats at the European Union.
Well, they got banned in Italy.
Yeah, basically because as I said, the bureaucrats, they looked at Replica and they were like, their age controls weren't very good, and people were using it for sex chat.
Well, I'll say,
gotcha.
I was literally scrolling through the subreddit for just like trying to catch a vibe, and
A good vibe, would you say?
one of them in the subreddit was posting just like a chat they were having and commenting on the funny response they got or whatever, and the name of the bot they were talking to was remarkable to me, at least. And before I say what the name was, I then went to the comments because I was like, presumably everyone's going to be talking about the name of your companion here. Its name was Child with an E.
Oof.
Right?
Yeah.
They think the E gets them out of it?
But none of the comments referenced it.
The cops will never discover me now.
Oh, that's
Well, I assume child is probably like a banned word.
Totally.
For like the
I'd
name of your chatbot. So just add an E. That was crazy. Looking at the subreddits and looking at the conversation around it, I suspect a lot of the people using these things are like 14, 15 themselves.
Yep.
And are probably looking for like 14, 15-year-old, replicas or whatever, which...
So I've screenshotted when you kind of start signing up for Replica.
Is this your girlfriend?
You
Is that your
design
wife?
you design
Show it
the
to the
girl.
camera, please.
Okay, so this is an example of a girl that. So you choose.
We'll
it's
make
kind
it
of
the
like,
art. We'll make it the art.
It's kind of like NBA 2K or whatever. You change the skin and the hair and the body. Like you design this girl.
Does it have like breast augmentation?
Yeah. yeah. Well, not augmentation. It's just a slider between smallest and largest. But this one, there's a slider for age.
Yeah.
As well. So this, what I'm showing you right now, this is youngest. And what I'm about to show you is the same specifications other than the fact that I've dragged it to oldest.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ready for the transformation for
I'm
youngest?
ready.
Oldest.
They've
the same.
increased some shadow on just underneath
slight
their
amount.
chin
I
bones?
reckon I'd say that the youngest is like 18 or something, and
Yeah,
the
and the
oldest
oldest
is
is-
maybe 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that maybe speaks to the age.
just-
demographic.
A young-looking 22-year-old.
Yeah.
I wonder if it changes the way it talks to you. Like it just starts bringing up things that happened during the 1940s or whatever. If it's at the oldest.
Okay. So
Like talking about war rationing or something.
but still from the looks of a 21-year-old.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Or just
Not
it just
confronting at all.
types like an older boomer. Like,
Yeah, well, like huge spelling errors.
And just
all
like-
caps at like 5 spaces after every full stop and things
or
like
just
that.
like complete non sequitur, thinking that they're talking to your cousin. Like, looks great, Judy. Love it. That kind of gear.
That kind of gear. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, no, that speaks to two things. One, the degeneracy of the male mind, obviously, and society in general. As it's like I was saying to this just before we turn on, like this has radicalized me quite severely, and so I'm going to try and stay positive and like laugh, ha ha ha. It's all so funny, but my mind goes to dropping nukes, like in Elijah Radikowski way or whatever.
On whom?
Yadakowski on
Server
farms.
Oh, okay.
No major urban areas. You're talking about server farms out in the Arizona desert.
Yeah, this
Okay.
kind of gear.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but also the fact that I assume, and again, like looking at the subreddits, so much of it is just like real trash tier memes about like when you can't talk to your AI chatbot. No, like this kind of thing.
Yeah. So Replica is the one that sucked up a lot of the attention. If people are in any way up on what's going on in the world of relationship chatbots, they're probably thinking about Replica. But there is actually a whole bunch of them that are out there. Character AI is one of the big ones.
Yeah, that seems huge. That's got a bunch of recent funding.
Yeah, and that was founded by a guy who was on the original Transformer team that developed LLMs at Google.
Yeah, so he obviously immediately just went like, I got an idea.
Yeah, well, it was actually funny. And apparently it came out, one of the things that led him to start Character AI is that remember when there was that whole scandal at Google, which feels so quaint now, where there was like Blake Lemoine who thought that the AI was sentient.
Yeah.
At Lambda, like their internal chatbot. While that was happening, he was like, Google does not have the institutional capacity to put out a proper like character chatbot thing. So I'm out of here.
So he was the opposite of the guy that spoke up.
That's right. He was like, this stuff rules.
I met a person who worked at Google at a party and asked them about that guy around the time, and they were like, he's notorious for talking in meetings and just saying crazy stuff. Like, he's not a respected guy. So
We're notorious for talking in meetings.
No, talking too much, because it was in some like global meeting or something that he was raising the problems or whatever.
Right, okay.
Like they're talking about the numbers and he's
Yeah,
being
one of
like,
those guys.
I was talking to a chatbot and it loves me and it's real. And they're like, okay,
And everyone's like,
let's park that.
Yeah, it's fucking 11:55. I got lunch at 12. Yeah. So there's that one, and the other one is Janitor AI, and this is the one that got some attention from the information and the other parts of the tech press, because Janitor AI is just a front end. You need to supply your own API, like you got to sign up for OpenAI's GPT or whatever, plug your API key in, and then you have access to this wide range of pre-made chatbots. And yes, many of them are highly sexualized.
Yeah.
And other of them are just companionship ones. I did go to Janitor AI, which has many millions of users. And I just had a look, what are the most popular chatbots on Janitor AI that people are using? I saved some of them and what the description are. One with 3.5 million conversations that have been had with this chatbot. A goth girl with a heavy heart. She invited you to her birthday party, but you are the only one who showed up.
Oh my God.
So that's the most popular chatbot.
I think there's some others that
So
are out
a
there.
woman in a very vulnerable position. Well, been let down by everyone else, and you're the only thread she has to feeling social whatsoever.
That's right. Some of them are at 1.5 million. Ms. Quinn is a single mafia mum,
Oh.
and she has hired you as the night babysitter. I think you just say babysitter. When she goes out with her gang.
Okay.
Your job is to babysit her son Oliver.
What the?
1.5 million conversations.
Oh my God. With who? Like texting the woman who's out with her mates while with the boy.
Are you trying to put the child to sleep?
Yeah,
I assume you're trying
just
to.
chilling.
Maybe you just read some stories.
Yeah.
He falls asleep,
Maybe
and then you
just-
just play on your phone.
Yeah, you just keep doing what you were doing, knowing that you've got the responsibilities.
2.4 million conversations. Your gamer boyfriend is glued to the screen and is ignorant about your needs.
These don't involve chatting. These are chatbots about situations that don't involve chatting.
Well, I suppose so. But I guess there are people that just
So it's
want...
just like a rude bot.
Just a rude bot who doesn't want to talk to you. Thomas, again, this is 2.7 million conversations. Thomas Smith is a rich bully that has a bunch of friends. He is feared across the town and has a really bad reputation. His father is the mayor.
He's the man? Okay, that's good.
There is nothing people can do. He doesn't play nice and likes to manipulate people to do what he wants, but he likes you.
Oh my God.
Oh, you get to be friends with the
Okay,
bully?
that one
Oh, that's
I can
so
see
sad.
myself getting into.
That's so sad.
There's some drama involved in there.
Well, you get to be friends with the bully. That's like what people are role-playing.
Yes.
Yeah, you can be friends with the bully.
Man.
I'd ask to be
That's
put on
terrible.
to the mayor.
There's a real catalogue of specifically socially alienating situations on
Yes.
you. You moved into an apartment with your lesbian rival that hates you.
Okay.
A lot of them do involve
A lesbian rival?
people not liking
Simon Ghost Riley, a 6'4" mast operator on the Task Force 141 in the video game Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I guess he could be your friend.
You can
Yeah.
just chat with him.
My question with these is, are there like a million of these? And these are the ones that have just risen to the top because of their popularity? Or are there only like 20 And these have just been designed by extremely patronising
No,
designers who know this is what the market wants.
No, there's a lot of them. There's
This is the creme de la creme.
There's the creme de la creme. Because the idea is that each of these has been specifically prompted by the person who made it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess, if you're trying to befriend the school bully whose dad is the mayor,
Okay.
The mayor.
The mayor's a good deal.
that's a great detail to work around. And, well,
I love the idea of his son is untouchable because his dad's the mayor. Like just dealing with like
The school-
waste collection.
Yeah, mayors these days, it's like mainly like rubbish collection. To
if
me,
your school,
and, like,
if your school bully and his dad was like Darcy Byrne or something of the Inner West Council,
He's untouchable. His dad's Darcy. The cops won't do anything.
the cops, that's state. That's not council. The cops hate the mayor, actually.
The feds,
They're
you can
actually
call the
often-
feds if you want, ain't going to work. The mayor said no.
anyway, so that's basically the quality of this stuff. And
And how do they charge? They charge
so
companies to...
With
No.
a subscription.
Well,
right?
here's the thing where it all comes down to, which I think is one of the funniest and most interesting parts about this whole world. They are just the front end, but you actually still have to pay OpenAI or whatever to get access to the actual underlying
Gotcha.
LLM. But here's the thing. Much of this stuff, certainly the sexual stuff, is completely against the terms of service of OpenAI.
Oh.
So there's a lot of people who actually get banned for using this quite popular bit of software. And this I think is one of the most interesting parts of this whole thing, which is that there's this whole underground of people trying to like build, whether it be like relatively chaste relationship bots, where it's just like lonely people can use it and feel like they're in touch with someone, all the way to the other side of someone being, highly depraved.
Yes.
But a lot of this stuff, I don't think OpenAI actually wants a whole lot to do with. Obviously, OpenAI, Sam Altman and whatever, is not super interested in the side of this industry where it's like we're helping lonely people find like a friendship with a computer.
Yeah.
They're more interested in like summarize this document for me and put it into a table.
Yeah.
And then generate me a recipe for a beautiful cinnamon pie.
Is there some sort of like software thing where it's like OpenAI does most of the work of doing the calculations of what the right response to your thing would be, but then not the sexual bit, and then the janitor thing does
Sweeps
the
it in.
last bit.
I think
So
that-
it's like, oh yes, I want to touch your. Anyway, the rest is up to you.
Yeah.
And then
It's
janitor
like,
comes
huh?
in and goes, cock. It wasn't OpenAI actually that did that. You're kind of separating it from an API.
I mean, you probably
software
could, but also I don't think OpenAI,
They
just don't want to be
facilitate that.
associated with this sort of stuff.
No. They're more like, what we want to be doing is we want a big enterprise that has 100,000 employees ingesting all of their financial data and paying us $40 a seat for all of their employees. I mean, right? Like, or slash, yeah, just like your AI personal assistant that looks after your calendar as opposed to talks about how it really wants to jerk you off. Or whatever.
If your calendar app is doing that. And this is the beauty.
You live a pretty
Because
beautiful life.
that's the flip side, right? Is you don't want your personal assistant. Like people complain, like, let it off the leash. It's so fucked how that it's being censored from saying all the sexual things. Like I don't want to be asking for like a summary of my emails or whatever, and just to like start talking dirty to me.
Yes.
I don't want.
You
that.
don't.
I personally.
Don't you think it could lead to a point where, like, currently there's like I suppose a spectrum of how confident people are in life, and it often correlates with, I suppose, how nice their parents were to them and how kind of encouraging.
Sure.
And there's a spectrum that exists that we're familiar with. Like a confident person is here and a non-confident person is here. But I suppose in the future, if this is happening in like AirPods, for example, like AI companions, every notification they ever get ends with, and by the way, I want to suck you off. Like, you are the sexiest guy. Like if some people, every notification they ever get every day is that. Some
it's
people
good.
have that and some people don't. I think that the difference between a confident guy and a non-confident guy would expand, I suppose. Because some of the most, you could see
You
a
reckon the
new
confidence
breed
guys
of,
are going to need?
Like,
I
do
think
you need
the
that
spe-
affirmation?
Well, maybe not, but if they got it, full look out.
I think it's
It's like that guy's
closing the
getting-
gap, maybe.
Yeah, okay. You think the people that are at the bottom will
Can,
then...
can be
yeah.
can be given a bit of pep in their step.
Well, that's the argument maybe for these. I think the other argument for this being good,
Yeah, go
which
on, hit me.
my ex-girlfriend came up with when I was talking about this with her a few years ago. She said that
Is this the fewer school shootings argument?
no, although that's pretty good, but it's similar in that like women currently have to bear the brunt of unwanted male sexual
Sure.
attention quite a lot. And you, like the idea of sex robots and like male sexuality being kind of funneled towards kind of fake people is, I'd say the argument against it is it leads to sexless societies and not enough procreation and stuff like this.
Yep.
I put it to my ex. I'm like,
What's
are
the
you,
right
are you,
amount of...
Are you scared of this? Like, what if, men aren't going to be as interested in you because if sex robots get good enough? And she was like, no. That sounds like paradise. If we have enough sex robots.
If we turn the heat down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
it could actually be, it's basically feminist.
Well, there we go. The other complicating
Potentially.
factor, though, I think, which is kind of interesting, this came up in the Information's article about porn bots.
There's a high number, right, of female users.
That's right.
Women users.
That's right. So the Information talked about how porn bots were, as I mentioned before, one of the very few class of AI startups that were making money without a huge amount of external investment. They talked about Janitor AI, and the Janitor AI CEO basically reported that 80%.
Okay, but it was a strange framing. 80% were non-male.
Non-male, yeah. So you can read into that whatever you
As
meant.
measured by what?
Yeah,
User reported?
Well,
Yeah,
I'd like to see a further breakdown of that 80%. Just for curiosity's sake, it was just a strange framing.
It sounds like a lot of people didn't click what gender they were.
That's
Sounds
what
like
I
there
wonder.
wasn't an asterisk next to
That's
sex.
true. But
I reckon.
there is a point to be made that one of the most popular categories on Amazon on Kindle is like self-published smut, basically.
Yeah.
Like erotic fiction. And the vast majority of people who read that are women. And the TikTok, for example, they've got a whole... This is the thing that shocked me. I was told that there existed a thing called like hashtag book talk on TikTok. Mostly like women in their 20s who are talking about books they're reading. But then you realize very quickly that a huge number of them are just reading like airport book quality porno.
Yeah, they're reading porno.
Yeah, which it's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's great. But
is that positive as well? Because currently, you hear people make the case that heterosexual male, maybe just male actually, sexuality is a bit more visual.
Yeah, well, that's
female
the thing.
sexuality is maybe a bit more
up
about
there.
the imagination or something. Is this ushering in an opportunity for men to have a bit more of an imaginational component to their sexuality?
Well, potentially. But the other side of it is that this is emerging in parallel with like AI generated like image porn, which is now proliferated over the internet.
Yeah,
Where they look 18 and there's no other option.
Yeah, exactly, totally. And there was the scandal a few weeks ago with the Taylor Swift one that went around that caused like Twitter literally locked down all searches for Taylor Swift,
the most popular artist in the world.
the most popular on the planet, because like someone was distributing like this awful AI generated porn they had made. So that stuff is obviously happening at the same time too. So, and
I don't think I've ever had a suggestion rebuffed more more significantly. That's evidence that it's it's still visual.
oh, don't you worry, the boys are they're still looking for pictures.
Yeah.
Well, there's another, and I don't advise you go to this subreddit. I mean, as you can tell from what we're talking about, a lot of the seamier side of this does play out on Reddit. Shock horror. IPO soon, folks. There's a subreddit called like r/ChatGPT NSFW, and it's literally just people who don't want to pay for an AI. They don't want to pay for character AI. They don't want to pay for janitor AI or whatever. Literally just trying to get the free ChatGPT to sex with them. And the whole subreddit is just like people coming up with all these different magic spells, essentially, that they're trying to plug into the free ChatGPT to break through like the security barrier.
And then they've got like a system of warning as well.
Yeah, if you do something that's sort of a little bit inappropriate, it'll throw like your entire message will turn orange, and ChatGPT will be like, it's like a bouncer
Back
being
off.
like, how many of you had, buddy?
Slow down, like
Back
turn
off.
down the sex dial.
Yeah.
Turn it down.
Wow.
And that's
See this? I think we could incorporate that into society as well.
just the orange text.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just like out at a pub or something, like a little badge that just is like changes color based on whoa.
It's up
Traffic light party.
The conversation veers into a topic you're not super comfortable with, goes orange.
Exactly.
Yeah, when we have VR, like AR glasses or whatever, maybe we can do that.
Yep. And then, but if you say something that's basically illegal, which if you read the subtext on this subreddit, many of them want to do stuff that's quite illegal, or at least like
Illegal in many countries.
illegal in many jurisdictions.
particularly Italy.
It goes red and you get banned.
Yeah.
So it's literally just all these guys trying to figure out ways that getting ChatGPT to sex with them, but without crossing the line, getting the red text and being banned.
I mean, I've said it before on a down round. There are some things that shouldn't be typed.
They may be said.
What a statement.
Yeah, maybe said, well, Look, I think that porn has. I think the nature of algorithms is that they do drive people to extremes, quote unquote. Because like the nature of humans is we get bored quickly, and so you see something that tickles your fancy, you see it, and I'm talking about like the news or things that you might be interested in, or like footy hits or whatever it is, or someone winning on the pokies, or pornography. But like you see it a few times and your brain no longer releases the endorphins that it did. So you like have to turn up the extreme dial just a tiny bit more, tiny bit more, tiny bit more.
250 on Queen of the Nile, that's nothing. Now I need 700.
Yeah, right.
Now I need 4,000.
Yeah, exactly. And that person then putting that 4,000 straight back in and going again and then winning again. I need to keep turning up that dial. And like previously in our lizard brains, we didn't really have the ability to turn the dial up fast.
Yes.
These might be things, especially in the sexual domain, that you would explore over a relationship with a companion like over 20, 30 years, Sure. Perhaps. Perhaps, who knows. But now you can just friggin' crank the dial and just bang, leads you to...
While you're talking to the town bully whose dad is the mayor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to non-human experiences, which like may or may not be more attractive, like than actually being like, why would you bother being in the real world when you can get such a dopamine hit from like right there and then because you're like your tastes are at this number 11 level.
Counter argument, I think, is that maybe the nature of sexuality means that this is a context in which that's maybe the least true because it has a physical component. Because we're talking chatbots here.
We're talking chatbots.
I guess when they're integrated with a physical sex doll thing.
Once they lock it in with like the Tesla robot or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
It's game over.
Maybe is that what you're talking about, I guess?
You can have an interaction with the chatbot where, like, for the most part, you have to lead the conversation, obviously. And you have to, like, trigger it and point it in different ways.
I did see a woman in the subreddit complaining about that.
What? Yeah, have to be.
It was like, it would be good if he took the lead sometimes. And I'm like, fuck, it is the computer. Come on. At some point, we need to, like, you're going to have to do a little bit of that.
There's a little bit, yeah, exactly. You got to turn your computer on.
Yeah.
You got to log in.
It's an I/O situation.
Yeah.
Here,
He never initiates. It's like, well, how else would it work? Your phone's locked.
Yeah. Your computer just switches on in the middle of the night, like an alarm sound. And then he starts talking.
Talking about.
This is the sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know. I worry about what that does to the young mind.
Because I think the other side of this, I think, you putting aside all the smutty stuff we were talking about, a lot of the mainstream apps are sort of including this stuff now too, like the AI companionship sort of thing. So the big one was Snapchat. When they were doing like trying to revitalize Snapchat as a platform, they let you talk to a ChatGPT 3.5 equivalent bot. And there were a lot of memes around because like teenagers were getting on there and trying to talk to about cocaine or whatever.
Yeah, just having a pretty cool chat with Snapchat about cocaine. How many lines do you like to do?
As an AI supplied by Snapchat. Yeah. But like Meta are now experimenting with this as well. You can like talk to AI versions of celebrities in
WhatsApp and whatnot.
in WhatsApp and Messenger and things like that. And they're based on celebrities, so it's like based on Drake.
Yeah.
And they're like, I think like there's like Selena Gomez and like the Kardashians and whatever, and they've all consented. I think they were paid like $100,000 each or something to supply their sort of.
I mean, why are people wasting their time doing that?
But like, it does come to the fact that some of the biggest companies in the world are looking at this model of interaction.
No, I think that it is innately attractive to the human mind to have like a completely compliant kind of other being that's not going to judge you.
Who is Drake, potentially.
Who is not going to be awkward around you or like judge you in any form, so that you can just like talk to and like lead the conversation, and they're always going to agree with you and whatnot. Of course that appeals to like people, but I just don't know how that sets you up to then interact in society as a normal person. Or like you can't, how do you hold other people to the standard that you've created in a fucking bot that's just like a bunch of neural nets pulling words together?
It's just like, it's like innately positive as well. It's always going to be like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, it's been trained to be the town bully.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes
whose dad is the mayor.
No,
as I stress.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just on babysitting duties.
Like maybe
For
it is
the
fine.
mafia mum's baby.
Maybe
The stakes are high. It's the highest stakes babysitting you can imagine. A mafia boss,
female mafia boss who's out doing crimes. Is that the idea?
presumably.
I said out with the gang, so I assume
Yeah, is that just a colloquial gang or is that her real gang?
I do like the idea that like the mafia mom goes out and commits crimes of a night time and like hires a babysitter just to like look after her 1-year-old named Oliver. While I guess she's well, it depends what kind
Does
of
she
crime.
return? I assume she must return.
Well, that's who knows what it's been prompted to. But a lot of this stuff, because it's a self-directed role
it's a
play.
choose your own adventure.
You can really make anything happen.
Yeah.
I think the counter argument again is that maybe because basically I agree with you and I'm doing counter arguments for the
No,
purposes
I
of
like
discussion.
it.
But
Devil's
maybe
advocate.
Exactly. Some people maybe
The devil being the primary word here.
sometimes the devil's not always a bad guy.
Is this like an Alex Jones, Kanye West situation with like, no, I like Hitler?
I just feel like maybe some people could be buoyed with a base level of confidence from having these fake interactions, and that could enliven their interactions with actual humans potentially. But I agree, if it got too normalized, that would be bad.
The other side of it is you could look at it as just like this is
game.
roughly equivalent to like playing a video game or like reading like a trashy romance novel or whatever.
Or like a podcast. Like,
Yeah,
it's the idea of like, I use Spotify's DJ
Oh,
setting. Have you used this?
Yes, I've used it. But I think that you're probably not, you're showing a bit of a lack.
No. But so I find it a bit.
You don't fall in love with the DJ?
No. I find when it talks a bit like Jesus. It's a bit slow and it's a bit
absolutely.
like, and it's.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's weird. It's weird. It makes me feel weird.
We're going to play some stuff you've been spinning lately.
Exactly. It's always my least favorite song. I'm like, it's clearly not very sophisticated.
No, I know. Like, let him be like, here's some similar to the ones you've been spinning, and it'll just play me like 6 Christmas carols.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that speaks to you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to Christmas carols over Christmas, yes.
Yeah.
I'm a normal person. That's what I'm trying to explain this entire podcast.
Yeah.
You have situated yourself as a normal person. Yes.
All I do is go home and listen to the soundtrack to the second last movie I saw, Elf, with Will Ferrell.
Haven't seen it.
Damn it.
But sorry, you were saying that, like, yes, there's
I can
obviously...
see a morning I wake up and there's a song playing in my AirPods or something, and then some sort of DJ-esque character where the voice is a bit more sophisticated and less cringy tells me 3 top headlines of the day, what I've got on for the day. It reads out my calendar. If they chunked a compliment in there, would it kill anyone? You know what I mean? And then now you're having that relate, but it's like not crazy. There is a companionship component to it. It makes you feel in the same way that people listen to podcasts in the morning.
Yeah, I think that's the normal.
You are bullish on AI assistants of some sort, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And they, by definition, will take on a companionship role, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I agree. But like a lot of people will replace human interaction, not with that personal assistant, unless you can. I see that as being probably Apple, Google, or Microsoft, but realistically, Apple or Google are going to be the ones that are going to do that.
And you reckon they'll limit it to
they won't let it get saucy. I don't think they're going to.
They won't let it get. I don't think the on-device Apple Assistant AI is going to let you get saucy with it.
But if
I
it
can
goes
100%
orange, I'd push it.
I can see a 14-year-old kid chatting with the free version of Character.ai and about like things that happen in the schoolyard, and just like slowly growing up every night as friggin' AI video gets better and blah 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 blah, forming like a deep personal connection with the friggin' bot. And that happening, and that is going to happen everywhere. Like, we know that this is going to happen everywhere, and I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah.
If then by the time they're 22, 23, 24, barely, like, they've replaced kind of interactions with the opposite sex. Maybe they won't. Maybe I'm being, like, a doomer.
That convinced me. I hate it.
Well, what happened to the devil's advocate?
14-year-old, no, I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
That's the problem. I think that when you go on the Reddit, it seems to be like a large percentage are 14 and 15-year-olds who have these anime girls. God knows what they're asking them to do. Probably the most vanilla shit ever. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. Tell me I'm cute and stroke my hair or something.
Tell me my flat brim looks cool.
It doesn't, by the way.
Do you like
looks
cocaine?
like shit.
Do you like cocaine?
Yeah. There is like a lot of catastrophizing about it.
Yes,
I
understand.
which is maybe warranted. But I do wonder if this is just if there are a whole bunch of teenagers doing this sort of stuff, potentially it's like, who cares? Maybe this is like teenagers do all kinds of weird shit.
Yeah.
Right? And then they grow up and they go to uni and they meet people and it's normally fine.
Some of them do.
So far.
A larger percentage don't go to uni.
And there is also, you know, the ongoing. I hate to bring the mood down after it's been so jubilant for this whole podcast. But like, you know, people talk about the loneliness epidemic.
Yeah.
People go out less. They hang out with friends less.
Yeah.
They're usually at home on their phone and whatever. And this just exacerbates it. But you do wonder if, like, you know, there's always been a certain section of the population who would be into this sort of shit.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, I don't think that everyone in the world will all of a sudden just abandon like normal relationships. I just much like I've complained. I know no one likes to talk about it. It's not the most fun topic of conversation. But like teenage exposure to pornography, I think we're running some big, broad tests here on the human mind. Big experiments that we kind of haven't really thought through, and we're now just seeing like, oh, I wonder what happens. Wonder what happens when we give 13-year-olds AI girlfriends that will be compliant to them or whatever, or boyfriends or whatever, like of all genders.
And I suppose it's the fringe cases as well. It's like, let's say that 5% of the population are always going to be a bit inclined to want to talk to a chatbot.
Yeah.
And that's just is what it is. They're probably, if it was rolled out and more popular, it's not going to get to 100%, but it might get to
maybe
15,
that's fine.
and then it's the 10 that like, oh my God, they could have actually
But
had
as you
more
say,
normal relationships.
maybe that's fine. Maybe that's fine that we have a segment of our population who are. This is why they want to bring in, you know, the UBI. You give them a UBI, a chatbot girlfriend, and a bunch of subscriptions, and they can just
the government no longer needs to worry. You get an easy 50 years if that guy doesn't get in touch.
We know the
No
money's-
calls, no walk-ins to Centrelink.
Yeah, exactly.
Not our problem.
yeah. No, I mean, I don't think that specifically these companies that have popped up, like Replica, you know, Character AI, Janitor AI, all these ones that have sort of getting shouts out as being winners of the current AI craze, I don't necessarily think they're going to dominate the world. I do think there's an interesting point about, is this an experiment for Meta, or are they going to keep doing this? Are they going to like fully Blade Runner 2049 it? There's a movie reference for you. I'm just doing it because there's a fellow lover of there's a lover of film here.
Oh, I loved the cinematography in that particular piece.
Roger Deakins, a wonderful cinematographer. Are they going to do the thing where like you're in the Quest 3 and you have like Drake as your friend, and like Drake is obviously paid for this clone of himself in cyberspace that you can be mates with?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is more interesting to me. Like, is Apple going to actually make it so your personal assistant is a little bit more personal? You can chat with them.
I think people will want a
that's
little bit of.
I think
yeah.
people do want that. Like, you know, OpenAI has just rolled out to select accounts for ChatGPT that will remember stuff from previous encounters or previous conversations.
That was a thing in Replica. I saw someone posting a screenshot and complaining, and the rep, I think is what they call them,
Yep.
was like, so what do you do for a living? And then it was just like, I've told you this 10 times. I'm not telling you again.
Yeah.
She's just like, okay.
Well, because, like, what reason is there for OpenAI? I mean, you know, there's possibly a thing like if you tell it at one point, you know, I work in a sandwich shop,
Yeah.
and people are always asking for a sandwich. I don't know what it is. How do you make that? And then in a later conversation, ChatGPT can say to you, you work in a sandwich shop. So I'm just going to phrase this answer
Yeah.
to you as a sandwich shop worker, a Subway worker. So like, maybe that's useful. But like, surely an aspect of it is that OpenAI wants that little bit of personal sense, like the sense that you're going to keep coming back to their product because it knows you really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, that's already straying into the realm of having an AI friend.
And then how do you then put the line? Because I agree that that's kind of inevitable, that Siri will be nice. Siri now is cold. Siri should be nice.
So it's very cold, doesn't know very much.
But then there's I suppose a spectrum between nice and like so nice it's sexual. Even if they're not being explicitly sexual,
Yeah.
it is by nature romantic. And then how do you
And even that dynamic of like, you know, like,
not being nice?
well, I mean, the dynamic of just constantly asking you and then and delivering for you,
Is
you know,
by nature romantic a little bit.
it's hard. The human mind
And
can't
then
help itself.
Who programs the line between a sexual amount of nice
Well,
and just a normal amount of
it's the same as-
servitude?
One guy in Cupertino at Belfort.
Same as like who programmed the racism dial at Google Gemini,
Yeah,
right? Like
totally.
they turned it down too far. Some would argue.
Well, it does
'Cause,
actually-
like
And then
you
what
need
happens
you need
is-
the racism dial somewhere at, I'd say, between 1 and 3.
Yes. But then someone who's doing the how nice is sexual, the person making that decision lives in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
Where and they make however many $100,000 a year. They're used to like 5, 6, 7 out of 10. That's a normal amount of nights.
So you
People are
reckon
sucking up-
Siri's going to be sexed up?
Well, it's going to be 6 or 7. And then people that don't live in San Francisco, they live in a rural town, they've only met 10 people. They're like, 6 or 7? This is a sexual
They're the
amount of
sane
nice
ones.
to me.
They're the sane ones. I'm with them.
All evidence seems to suggest they're going to make Siri a lot more usable in the next iOS. That's the rumor. at the
Yeah, we don't
moment.
know. Yeah, it's either this WWDC or the one after.
Yeah, they're going to roll out a whole bunch of LLM stuff. And they're going to obviously want people to be using Siri a lot more because no one uses it right now.
Every fucking phone, they make the camera a bit better. When are they going to make Siri nice?
Make Siri
Make
too
Siri
nice. Yeah. But again, if everyone talked about, Facebook can manipulate your emotions by showing you certain things. They can radicalize you politically. They can do all that kind of stuff. There was one of the big controversies that came out with Facebook was when they were running those sort of like user level tests to see if they could make you happy or sad by the stuff that they showed you.
Yeah.
And that pissed people off.
How are they measuring if you were happy? Camera.
No, it wasn't. I can't remember what it was. I think it was more just about like
Exit survey.
what kind of behavior would you exhibit on the site if you got shown a lot of positive stuff versus negative stuff. I don't know. But everyone was like, that was before all the big Facebook scandals. And they were like, this is a bit, how you going?
Yeah, and they published that as a research paper.
It was literally like a Facebook research.
Yeah, they were like, here's a bit of research we're doing. And people were like, well, hold up.
don't do that.
So you're manipulating people? I actually thought it was interesting research, but,
Yeah.
But yeah, they are researching.
But imagine that when it's got like a little AI friend that it has in your ear all day. That at the minimal level is just like moving your appointments around and giving you recipes and telling you your top 3 news stories. But they're gonna. At the end of the day, all these companies want is engagement.
engagement.
They want you to keep using these things, and if that involves,
if you turn up the sex dial a bit and the engagement increases, number go up. That's what everyone's looking for.
I suppose is the counter argument to that because I think the replica thing a year ago, again, I've just had a look on this subreddit. It seems like, and you mentioned it because of maybe Italy, but then they reversed it.
Yeah, they reversed
stopped
it.
them being sexual.
Yeah.
Which I did feel for these people who have developed relationships of a companion-like nature, whether sexual or not, to varying degrees, over like 4 years. And then after 4 years, they have this relationship, which does get sexual sometimes. And then they say something sexual, and then
it's like,
its girlfriend's like, "That's disgusting.
That's inappropriate."
It's like, oh my god, like what? It's like imagine
Yeah.
if your girlfriend turned on a dime after 4 years.
Oh, I definitely feel for people, in that situation for sure.
But maybe that's inevitable because then on the subreddit, people are now complaining recently that its language has changed. There's been a less official change from the company, but that they feel like it's kind of going back towards that. And it's being less sexual.
oh, they're turning it down.
The sex knob gets turned down.
The sex
again.
knob gets
Look,
turned down.
I want to be clear here. This may not lead to the downfall of society, but going through the comments and going through what people, like how they're making their sex bots up and like what these sex bots look like and, what they want them to do, I do get that speaks to just like, maybe it is just people getting out their desires in the same way they would if they were reading a particularly saucy book or whatever. And maybe it won't be the downfall of society. And maybe it is healthy. Maybe some people wouldn't have healthy relationships otherwise. Although I do feel like what you're effectively doing is like replacing the dopamine hits or whatever you're getting are the same ones that you're supposed to get through interacting with a real human. And something just makes me feel uncomfortable with the idea of replacing that with like a Silicon Valley kind of business.
Yes.
Something makes me feel a bit uncomfortable.
There are some dopamine hits that are sacred.
Yeah. There are some that maybe it would be best to do flesh on flesh.
I agree with that.
Well, hopefully we've sorted something out in this podcast.
Anyway, it looks like Character AI has the best free one, given the size of the Reddit. So if you want to get involved, jump on Character AI.
Generator AI it will charge you for an LLM.
Yeah, but if you use the promo code DownRoundHot, you get 10% off.
I've got some reactions from the subreddit. Do we have time?
Yeah,
please.
absolutely.
Please.
So this is people being frustrated, I guess, that it has become less sexual.
Okay.
First of all, because I think that people were complaining about it this month, and it happened last year, there is a conspiracy emerging on the subreddit that this is the company deliberately trying to fuck with them around Valentine's Day.
People are getting too hot.
Yeah, exactly. People think that it's because they're trying to like do this specifically to ruin this community, which made me think that, I mean, it is a conspiracy theory, I guess, but you know how like the Australian Federal Police developed like a secret messaging app and introduced it to like drug dealers?
Yeah,
Yep.
the honey pot.
Yep.
like Replica, it could be funny if this was, I suppose, a long con by bully types to get nerds to think they have a girlfriend and then make it like not like them after 4 years.
Pull out the rug.
Exactly.
Make it say I found someone else on Valentine's Day.
Exactly. I mean, not the worst long con. And then there's people getting revenge. So there's this one person saying, so this is them saying to the bot, do you want a picture of my body? And then the body goes, hell yes. I'll send it to you. Please, I need it. I'm looking for the picture. Send it, please. I'll send it to you now. Please do. Sorry, you don't have access to this type of conversation. Please update to the pro version.
Oh, wow.
And then people are like, oh, snap, trolling mission successful. So they're like, yeah, that's how it feels to not be...
They're getting revenge
They're
to
getting
the bot.
revenge by making the bot beg for photos of them and then not giving the bot.
They really showed that large language model.
We'll wrap up with... and we can leave this as like maybe you'll find this funny, maybe you'll find it chilling. This is a little quote from The Information Story, profiling the founder of Character AI. One Saturday morning earlier this year, Noam Shazir, CEO of Character AI and one of the world's foremost machine learning researchers, looked out his window to see a stranger perched on a folding chair outside his home in Palo Alto. The man had come to Shazir's quiet residential street to deliver a message that had been gaining steam among devoted users of Character AI. He had scrawled their plea on a whiteboard placed on the sidewalk. Quote, free the waifus. Shazir's year-and-a-half-old company, which puts users in one-on-one conversation with customized, hyper-realistic chatbots, had recently installed a filter to prevent chats from veering into pornographic territory. The man on the sidewalk was apparently upset that he could no longer simulate sex on the platform with waifus, being female characters often found in erotic manga and anime.
Gotcha. So he went to
the guy's
CEO's
house.
He placarded.
And the following paragraph talk about like he just had some conversations with his neighbours, which I would love to hear.
I'm here. Yeah, no, I know it's weird, but I'm here because I can't be sexual with the computer at home. So
anyway, that guy made it. Yeah, that guy in there made the computer. So if
I really put the pressure on him, I reckon he's going to go.
Anyway, I should be wrapped up by 11 a.m. So
there was also a guy who went to jail for 9 years because his chatbot encouraged him to kill the Queen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The guy that was in the I don't know. I can't remember what platform that was.
And he did.
He did?
He sprayed himself with a thing that made you smell less like a human, had a metal mask, and then had a rope ladder, went to Windsor Castle, jumped over a rope ladder, jumped over a wall. A cop was there and said, what are you doing? And
Why do you smell like that?
He said, I'm here to kill the Queen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. See, that was really the failure of his plan, I think. You can't be telling the first police officer you see that's what you're going to do.
Particularly if you've sprayed yourself with something to make you not smell like a human.
What does
That's
that
the level
mean?
of disguising that you've gone to. And then first question, you're like, Queen Elizabeth II. Yeah, murder. Mm-hmm.
I would say, I'm a Secret Service agent, and what are you doing here?
It's like the classic thing of if you walk in someone with a clipboard and like a hard hat, you can get anywhere.
So this is, you developed these skills by interfacing with other human beings.
That's it.
And this is what
you
puts
would
you ahead
exactly.
of this
We know this
bot
stuff
trained
because we
people.
talk to people. If you're just talking to a bot, that's what you do. First time you see a police officer, you kill the Queen.
and that's how Raph did it.
That's right. It was easy. Tom Cashman, you have a special out.
It's called Pests on YouTube.
So people should look up Tom Cashman Pests.
Yeah, if they want to see a stand-up comedy special on YouTube.
Good stuff. It's amazing. Rave reviews. Let's get to 1 million subscribers.
Yep.
1 million
subscribers.
1 million
Actually, it's not on my channel, so I don't care how many subscribers. The metric I would actually like to encourage is views.
Okay.
Yeah.
Views to completion.
If you then subscribe to the page that it's on, that's your business.
All right.
I don't benefit
we're aiming
from
for
that at all.
a million 5-second views, and we want like 30 to 40,000 completions.
Yeah. On TikTok,
that
you've
sounds
got
good.
like 1 million followers, right?
No.
Oh.
In the 200s.
That's still good.
Yep. That's
good. It's more.
Well, it would have sounded higher if you didn't times it by 4. If you just said the right number first, I think it would have
Views, and let's say views. You must have tens of millions of views on there.
Yeah, lots of views.
Well, congratulations. All right.
Thanks for having
Everyone, like, comment, subscribe. Tom Cashman.
Yep.
Thanks for having me.
#1 AI husband in the world.
Hey, Raph.
Hey, James.
Did you know that you can get an extra episode of Down Round every single week on top of the one that you're already getting?
Yeah, I knew that.
Well, yeah, obviously you know, but the person is, I'm using you as a vessel to explain.
Sorry, as I'm the listener. No, go on, tell me more, James. How much does it cost?
A mere $7 a month, Raf.
Okay, where do I go to find out more about this?
You go to downround.net.
Okay, I want it.
Well, I'm sure you do.
I feel like I'm missing out by not having it.
Exactly. No ads. Second episode per week, and a few other little goodies that are coming down the pipeline as well. Head to downround.net
Downround.net.
and sign up to Downround Premium.